All right, I
Good.
think you got it. Yeah, so, all righty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Ali Malawaseni. I am the technical writer here at SpecFlow. I've got with me our presenter today, Andreas Willisch, our community manager.
Hi, everybody.
Andy, you want to tell us what the webinar is about?
Yeah, today's webinar is about how to use SpecFlow with Visual Studio Code. So
awesome. Cool. All right, just before we kick off, let's take a look at some quick guidelines. Please use the Q&A tool to ask questions. Don't use the chat. It's just easier to handle it in the Q&A tool. If the question is relevant to the topic that Andy is discussing at the moment, I will try my best to interrupt him and ask the question. We will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end. So if anything goes unanswered, we will answer it at the end. We will have 3 polls in this webinar, a survey at the end, and as always, it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel link, we will share it with you guys at the end. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, cool. And this is our community forum page. Please go there to ask for new features if you're looking for one. You can also vote for existing features. As you all know, we are an open source project, so we take this very seriously, and we always want to do things that bring real value to our users. And the more votes something gets, the more likely it is that the team is going to work on it.
yeah, so and one as a good example for it is, perhaps you notice, is currently working on a JetBrains Writer plugin, and this is mainly because it got a lot of votes.
Yeah, right. Cool. Andy, what do we launched the poll now, I think.
Yeah. So first question for you all, we would like to know which IDE is you're currently using for SpecFlow.
Yep.
Oh, and the numbers are rising.
Yeah. Everyone's very quick. Visual Studio is quite popular.
the clear winner, but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess we have our answer.
Okay.
All right. Let me just end the polling here and also share the results with everyone. So we got 87% Visual Studio and 5 on Visual Studio Code. Well, hopefully after this webinar, you realize you can use Visual Studio Code as well to work with, to have a similar experience as the SpecFlow one in Visual Studio. Cool.
Good.
Results.
Then this webinar is hands-on. This is all the slides you will see, only polls and headlines. So let's get started with SpecFlow and Visual Studio Code. And we start with a new project. Let's start with a greenfield project. To do that, so let's make this all small. Normally, so in Visual Studio, we have the extension installed. You have some project template for SpecFlow. We have something similar when you use Visual Studio Code. The .NET CLI has some templating functions. So when you say .NET new, and let's say -L for list, there are a lot of templates available by default, and you can also create custom ones and install them. And I have installed our ones. And this is a simple, it's a one-liner on the command line to install these. Give me a second, I don't know it by heart. So it's .NET new -I for install, and then the name. I will get now message. No, it's updated it since the last time. So we have now here the project templates. And now what we can do, let's make a folder, new project. And say .NET new SpecFlow project. And let's first add this help parameter, because this template, we have some parameters. You can specify which .NET framework, .NET version you want to use, and which unit test provider you want to use. Today let's start with the default values. So we create a .NET Core App 3.1 app for the SpecFlow Plus runner, and it's created. So let's open the folder with code, and we are here in Visual Studio Code. Let's quickly switch theme to light to make it easier for you to read. So we get some messages from Visual Studio Code from the C# extension. Let's let him restore everything. So thank you. And normally we also want some run settings that it generates automatically. So we should get any nasty pop-ups. So from the project, what we created, we have our CS profile with the needed packages and the target framework. Also get a git ignore file, and then we have the driver folder features, hooks, and steps. And let's have a look what's created. So we have a feature file here, and yeah, it's not our usual template for a feature. We will update this in the following weeks to make now the .NET new templates a little bit different to the Visual Studio templates, but we will fix this in the next 2 weeks. But you see here, everything is black and no navigation, so this is a little bit boring. But as Visual Studio Code, the extensions ecosystem is really, really big. And there is already a good one that we try to promote. It's this Cucumber Gherkin full support extension. Let's enable it. And I don't need to reload. And this extension, it's not from us. It's an open source extension by the community. And you see, it's enabled, and we already have syntax highlighting, and I have also navigation. So I pressed F12 here. So go to definition, and I'm here in our steps class with our method and everything here. This doesn't work out of the box as you saw it. I made a small settings change. If you're in Visual Studio Code, if you press Ctrl-Shift-P, you open this command thing. How it is called? I always forget how it's called. And then you can say settings, and then you have this open settings UI. Have a nice settings, and you can then use here is Cucumber, and somewhere here in the settings is a steps parameter. And here you have to configure an array where your steps files are. You press here, and what I have already configured here, that it looks in every subfolder for CS classes and looks there for the command palette. Thank you for the help from chat, what it's called. Yeah. Too many IDEs, too many different words.
I know,
different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so one thing, we got a user asking. Victor wants to know if this would work on Linux, for example, Ubuntu 18.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to do the webinar on an Ubuntu VM, but it crashed an hour ago before the webinar, and I didn't get to fix it to work, get it to work. So it's all on Windows. Yeah,
It's okay.
bad
Also,
luck.
something to note here that I read in the details of the extension that if you actually put the full path to your CS files, especially if you have a big project, the performance-wise, it's going to be a lot quicker when you do the
Cool.
navigation. So that's worth mentioning, I guess. If you have a massive project with a lot of files, yeah, put the full path there instead of using the global patterns.
And also you can, when you use project stuff, you can have a user settings in Visual Studio Code and workplace settings. So these are only for the workspace is, as far as I remember, the folder that you opened it. So it saves them in a special file probably here. Let's see what's happening. Settings, workspace. Where is it?
You're on Git.
I'm on Git, thank
Yeah.
you. Steps. So yeah, it's a settings trace in the .vs code, and then you have configurations depending on your projects. So we could, in this case, to make it faster, it's not a big project, we could say here steps, and now it only looks here in the folder. So if you have a big automation project, stuff here. Good.
So we got another question that apparently this extension has been used before by one of our participants, and the autocomplete used to be quite different apparently to SpecFlow, to the SpecFlow extension, the official one. As Andy said at the start, this is not the official SpecFlow one, and as far as I know, I don't think the extension has changed much. Now I don't really have the full history of this. Andy, do you know much about it?
It's quite stable. Yes, we know there are some differences between in behavior. We're currently looking into an options. One goal of us is that you have the same or nearly the same behavior development experience for SpecFlow in Visual Studio, in JetBrains Rider, and hopefully then perhaps also in the future for Visual Studio Code.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Rider one is official. You would have the same experience as the one you have in Visual Studio, which is fairly new. So yeah, check it out on our website. And yeah, with this extension, of course, they're not going to be as good as SpecFlow, but yeah, it gets close. It's pretty good.
It gets very good, and it's also hard for this extension not only supports SpecFlow but all the Cucumber flavors that's out there, and yeah, it gets complicated then. Good. Navigation. So good. Now you have your scenarios, you can write stuff, but how do you execute that? There are different possibilities. Always the easiest one is, I think, so it's simply opening a terminal in Visual Studio Code and integrate it and say .NET Test. And then it executes everything here, and we get some errors because yeah, something was not implemented here. Let's have a look. It's in the create background in the driver class. So we have here navigation. Yeah, and our template mix adds not implemented exceptions here. Let's move them, run them again, and passed one time. As we as I mentioned, we're using here the SpecFlow Plus runner, so we have also some log file and some preliminary HTML report here. So you have your scenarios, you can run it, you can navigate and to the methods. But what do you do if you now need have a new step? Let's give them this is a missing step. It's only to demonstrate what happened if there is if you have a step that has no binding. So, well, was unable to find something. Sadly, it doesn't have here now. The extension has no code skeleton generation here, but we have covered this in SpecFlow already. So when we do now a .NET test run, we see that it will be skipped the scenario, and this is now a little bit depending on which unit test runner you are using. And with here the SpecFlow Plus runner, you will have to look in the log file. With XUnit, you can see it directly on the console. But when you look into this log file, it's a lot of stuff here. But you have here when your scenario is resolved, so if you give me your steps here, you see that we have here the exception. So no matching step definition found for the step. Use the following code to create one. And you have here the skeleton already generated for you. Or you have only the method, or you have the whole class. And if you would use a better editor, then then Visual is that normal notepad. You can make with Alt. You can select make an area select, and now you can put this in your step class. Yeah, it doesn't have a scenario context here in this case, but now we have to give him here. Our navigation is happy, and when we run this, the test passes again.
Something worth mentioning here is, Andy, when you can navigate from the step to the step definition, but not vice versa. So it's not like in SpecFlow, you could go back to your step from here, but this doesn't allow, as far as I know, I might be wrong.
You can, so if you don't do a lot of stuff in between, when you go, so
you press back, it works
here, huh? You can with Alt and left cursor, you can use the normal navigation to jump back.
Okay. But in the step definition, if I go to another one, can I go from
yeah,
there
no,
to that?
then
that doesn't work. Yeah.
So it's only the normal navigation in Visual Studio Code.
Cool.
Good. I showed you how to create a new project, how we can edit feature files, how to run them, how to get new steps. The one thing that's missing, and sadly you have to do it sometimes, is to debug scenarios and so.
Only sometimes.
Only sometimes. For that, I will switch to a different project, a bookshop example. And we'll show it there. This uses tests a web application, and here is where I jump to the slides again. So we have another poll now, and Ali, would you start it, please?
Yeah, I was just gonna say you forgot the second poll. Yeah, cool. All right, so launching the second poll, guys. What are you using SpecFlow for? This one is a multiple choice one, so please let us know. I'm just gonna launch it now.
So the bookshop will show you it's an ASP.NET Core application. The stuff what we are showing now is testing against the controllers directly, but this example has also some Selenium parts in it.
Okay.
Very diverse.
Yeah, quite diverse. I forgot UI testing, web UI testing is winning. Yeah.
The winner is SpecFlow because it's used in a lot of areas.
Yeah, exactly. The real winner is SpecFlow, but yeah, I wonder what the others are. But yeah, cool. All right, thanks, guys. Just gonna end this. Also share the results. So yeah, web UI testing 70%, the most votes, and then we got end-to-end business process testing, and followed by API. So good stuff. Thanks for letting us know. I'll stop sharing that, and we can get back to the debugging. Cool.
Good. So how do we debug stuff? First, let's build the stuff. IoT Edge. Victor, I think we need to have a call. I would like to know more how you use SpecFlow for IoT stuff. If you could reach out to me afterwards, would be great to talk with you.
Cool. Also, we have another question: if there is an ETA on an original SpecFlow extension for VS Code.
No, there is not, because currently we are not working on anyone, because our opinion at the moment, but we are subject to changes, that what is already there is already a good start to get working with Visual Studio Code. What we prepared, because we know that not everybody will be our opinion. So in our feature requests forum, we have already prepared a feature request for Visual Studio Code. And vote it up, and please also comment what features you're missing from this, from what I'm now showing you from all the features. If there's something missing for you, or something that doesn't work like you expected, and because it's input, because for except that the skeleton generation is there, navigation works, syntax, IntelliSense a little bit different, yes. If there's more that you're missing and want to see, please put this into this feature, because I will share this in the chat with you all.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So yeah, as Andy said, vote for it. Leave us a comment down bottom there, and let us know what you're missing and why you feel like it should be there. If it gets popular, we will definitely work on it.
Yeah, and this is where we need the feedback from you. Exactly. All. There's so many combinations out there how to use SpecFlow. We don't know everyone, and can't imagine probably everyone that's out there. And yeah, please post this here and vote it up if you see it. Good. For debugging, so for the project, what is here is we have two test projects, one unit test, one acceptance test where our feature files are. So we have two executions here, that's unit tests and that's acceptance tests. And we only want to run the acceptance tests. So bookshop acceptance tests. So that's here. So we have only the 18 stuff. So how do I debug this? First, so debugging in Visual Studio Code is a little bit cumbersome, I would say. If you do the command line, you have to set an environment variable, and I can't zoom there in. VS test host debug to 1, which makes the which says then .NET test to wait for a debugger to attaching. Okay. My keyboard and mouse broke. Give me a moment.
That's quite handy. We got a question here in chat to share the most usable extension here for SpecFlow. I think you arrived a bit late, but I just posted the documentation link, to which, if you follow that, you will be able to find the extension that Andy just showcased a few minutes ago here, and it will take you through the step of installing, and also the settings details are also there. That would help you have the navigation up and running as well. And also the debugging is quite, it's a little bit difficult to set up, but I have it all step by step in the documentation.
Yeah.
So if you get lost, you can always use that.
You find it here on the left side in the normal SpecFlow documentation. You have here the integration Visual Studio Code with the 3 chapters: installation, execution, debugging. And we are now in debugging, and I have a working keyboard and mouse again. So I enabled VS Test Host Debug 1, and when we do now run a .NET test, it's built before, and then he says here host debugging is enabled, please attach debugger. And here in Visual Studio Code, we can now here say .NET Core attach, and then we need the process ID, this process ID, so 23308. And put, yeah, a lot of stuff, all stack. So, and what is happening now, we are on the breakpoint in the of .NET test. So somewhere here. So you have to press, so have to click once on continue or F5. And then I've set a breakpoint before, and one of the scenarios was executed, and I'm not now here. We can have a look at the call stack, everything. So we are here in the feature file. You see also we can jump to the scenario. We are in the, when I open the details, and then we are here in our step. We have our local variables. We can, with normal debug keyboard shortcuts of the buttons. So F11 to jump in, F10 to jump over. And F5 continue. So, and the execution is finished. Test has ended. Back to the terminal, it's finished. But what I did now, and you see it here, we executed all 18 scenarios, and this is perhaps not ideal. These are quick, but if you have more scenarios and they take longer, it's a little cumbersome to wait until this stuff this the one scenario hits. And one thing you can do is you can put tags on a scenario, and then you can filter this also. So we say -- filter, and test category equals debug. And when we execute this now, builds again. So attach again. 39416. The first breakpoint, let's F5, and we got again to our breakpoint. And breakpoint setting a breakpoint is normal F9 or pressing there, as you know it from your other favorite IDE. So, and now continue with F5, and we have only executed this one scenario. And yeah, so if you're finished with the one scenario, you can remove the tag and move to the next one. I want to do this here, put the tag here, and start again. It's then 64864. First breakpoint, and I forgot, I deleted my breakpoint. So once again, six, 3, 5, 5, 6, and hit everything we have. Our locals, everything we want, and can debug as we like. And also one duration. Good. Yeah. So, and that was the other So I think the last thing, what you normally need for developing on your SpecFlow scenarios. I wanted to show you today how to use this in SpecFlow. And before we go to the Q&A, where you can ask us questions, we have one last time question to you people.
So we like to know where to and where could we improve SpecFlow for you? So again, this is another multiple choice one. I'm just going to launch this.
Questions are getting harder and harder for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a bit longer too.
Yeah, also coming in.
Yep. Still a bit longer to read, so give it
let's give them
a minute more.
10 seconds. In the meantime, I open something else. Good. Thank you all for answering. Let's close this.
Thanks everyone. So yeah, quite scattered, to be honest.
Let's
the winner is more education. Yeah, let me share that in press the button. More education and content on how to code tests with SpecFlow. That's at 52%.
The good news is we are already working on that.
Yep, exactly. We got some exciting stuff coming up, but I can't leak any of that information. We got more content on how to write good Gherkin. We actually have this already on our website. Andy, you want to fire that up?
Yeah, so if you don't know, we have this Given When Then with Style series, what we are working together with Gojko Acic on it, and we are already at challenge 21, so it runs already a long time, where it's always about a problem how to write scenarios for it. So last one was how to do API testing with Gherkin, but we see also good UI interaction tests, or something like how to choose between BDD and unit tests. There's a lot of content there. Let's share this.
Yeah, share the
chat.
link. This is a great resource, and it's a lot of work by Gojko, who's an industry leader really in this stuff. So please check that out. And then I think
if there is still stuff missing, please let us know.
Yeah, as always. And we got better test reporting on my SpecFlow projects, 33%. So my question is, are you using Living Doc?
Yeah, that's what I saw. So did you know about Living Doc? So what we did in the last months before now starting with Rider, we worked on SpecFlow plus Living Doc, which was before only available for Azure DevOps. But we have now also the SpecFlow plus Living Doc generator, which can create a self-hosted HTML file and not bound to Azure DevOps to it. So
this is a super cool reporting tool. This would carry your test results over and show it to you in a really readable format. And
show you a demo.
Yeah, let's do a quick demo here. So
that was the one. So bookshop again. You have the test results. You see it here. What else? We have some Markdown support in the descriptions. We have some analytics here. If you know from old days where we had it in SpecFlow 2 and lost it with SpecFlow 3, we have now unused step definition report here. A lot of people were asking for something like this, some general analytics stuff. So
yeah, really cool
you
stuff,
did not notice that that we did this. So where's the products? Why is this link so long?
Yeah.
I
Another
share the
cool thing in
page.
debug is you can also link from your pages, from your tests and your features to actual work items in Azure, in Jira, or whatever you're using. That's actually my favorite feature there, that you can click on these and you set them up and you click on them and you get to the feature. So it's really a one-stop shop for all the information regarding the tests you're running. So it's super handy, and I guess 33% of you should check this out.
Yeah, and if something missing again, please create a feature request. For it, what I can spoil, because it's somehow public knowledge. We have a roadmap, a public roadmap, and what we are currently working on, and this is one of the feature requests, what was most requested, is that you will be able to have screenshots in Living Doc here then in the steps.
Yeah,
that's on our sessions. I think I have 3 meetings in the next days to talk about this.
Fun times. Yeah, that's in discovery phase, isn't it? Yeah, cool. All right, so yeah, I guess we have all the information here regarding Living Doc.
Okay.
That was about reporting. Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing the results. So let's jump into Q&A. We already have we got some questions here. I'll start at the top. When you run a test, what is being checked? That's a bit of a general question, I guess.
So let's have a look at the scenarios what we have in here. So let's see how much, where are my feature files? Let's see a book search. So it always depends on your application, your style, how to write the scenarios. In this case, it's about searching book, and here we have the scenario that the title should be matched. We have a background where we give a predefined set of books, and then in the scenario is rather short. So we can say, when I search for books by the phrase domain, then the list of found books should contain only domain-driven design, because it's the only book here which contains domain. And the nice thing here is with SpecFlow now, you have described how the application should work and behave. How you automate this is a complete different question, and you can do this against the API layer. You can do this in process on the business logic. You can do this with Selenium against the web UI. That's how what you define in your testing strategy and how you want to test your application, what is possible. In this case, when we go look at the code, I don't. At the end, what we are doing is, in this case, we go directly against the logic, against the controller, and we look if in the model we get back from the controller the book is listed. So it's sorry, but it's the classic consultant answer. It depends. It really depends on your project.
Yeah. Another question. This one is regarding Living Doc. What's the best way to display it in a Markdown file, like in an embedded way, not in a downloadable HTML file?
The only quick idea I would have is, so you want it the other way around. You have a Markdown file where you want to see the Living Doc is. Normally you can add normal HTML to a Markdown, and then you could put an iframe.
Yes, I've actually done this on our page, I think. So
yeah, I think
I can't remember which page it is, but it is in one of the iframes that you can totally run it and it works very smoothly.
Had it somewhere, yeah. So hosting in an iframe is no problem. The only thing you need to make sure is that the URL stays the same.
Yeah, it doesn't change. So yes, it's doable, and we actually have an example. I'll dig it out and I'll paste it here later on. Got another question. Can a predefined set of data, like books in our example, be externalized from the test so that the same test can be used with different data sets? Okay, so
Yeah, yes and no. So what we did some weeks ago as experiment is, let me quickly find it. We introduced a new plugin for SpecFlow called SpecFlow External Data. There it is. Where you can, where is it? You can define, sadly, only one property at the moment, which you get the values from an external file. In this case, it's a JSON file. Let me give me a moment. I quickly open the test project for that. So it's called specflow.external-data. Let's open it in Visual Studio Code, that we are staying the same. So what you can do is here you have you can define one property and use it like here's like scenario outlines, and then you have a test data JSON where you can have then the values for this defined. It's, yeah, that's there. It was an experiment. It was an experiment. It's there. It's all open source. The whole plugin is open source, so you can have a look. It's in the SpecFlow repository, plugins, external data. There's the sample code. There's the plugin code. It's yeah, that's all. So for code files and project file and new spec file for the NuGet package. Yeah, currently it's limited to one property and JSON input. I'm happy to review every pull request that enhance it.
yes, absolutely.
And a short reminder: SpecFlow is an open source project. We are only a small team, so we are 10 people and 4 developers or something. SpecFlow lives from contributions from the community. We got amazing contributions in the last weeks, performance increases, small fixes, new features, everything, and depends on it. And yeah.
You can also contribute documentation to help me out too.
Yeah, sure. Everywhere on other docs.
Don't forget me about
this is Alice.
Yeah. Andy, while you're here, one of the participants wants to know where they can, if they have access to the examples we're using, the bookshop on GitHub.
So the bookshop is all our examples. So also on our GitHub organization, I shared this link.
Just
everybody.
Put it in
You
chat
have
for everyone. Yep.
2 repositories: the SpecFlow examples repository, where you have general examples for SpecFlow, for the SpecFlow features, and then we have the SpecFlow Plus examples with examples especially for the SpecFlow Plus runner for the different features file. And here in the SpecFlow examples under ASP.NET MVC bookshop, you can find the bookshop example I used today. The other one was a freshly created new project.
The bookshop one's pretty good. It's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, it's there. And if you want to know more about what is happening in the bookshop, we have here getting started with an example, which explains every detail about the bookshop example and implementation, how we are testing and everything. So this is our showcase project, how it could be and perhaps should be, or an idea how to structure your automation code and do automation with SpecFlow.
Yeah, and if you're fresh to it, start with the getting started step by step. Yeah,
if you're fresh to it, getting started step by step
is
the one to go.
That's the one. Cool. I can't see any other questions. It looks like we covered everything. Yes, the recording will be uploaded to YouTube. I've got another one.
Yeah,
Here.
as
always.
As always. So when I open this, we will hear Buzz.
Hello.
Yeah, as always. So yeah, our YouTube channel, we just reached 400 subscribers. All of our webinars will be uploaded here. The streams, the content we are doing is also uploaded here. So usually doing every Thursday about 2-hour streams about doing stuff with SpecFlow. At the moment, because of timing issues, not, but hopefully soon again. But you will find everything here and it will go up in the next days. Depends on how fast YouTube is with processing the videos.
Absolutely. The step-by-step guide also has a video series that you can follow if you prefer to have a video series. And there's also videos there about Living Doc. It's not just about SpecFlow. So if you're new to Living Doc for the reporting, you can check out the videos there. So yeah. As the YouTubers say,
Hello, and welcome to this
hit the button and subscribe.
Yeah, and leave some likes on the videos.
Yeah, leave some likes on the video. Yeah. No, we care mostly about our users knowing how to use our product. We don't generate revenue from YouTube.
No.
Don't care about that. Cool. Yeah, that was it for the Q&A, I guess. Covered everything. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for participating. Thank you for your time. And we'll see you in the next one, I guess.
Yeah. Victor, the giveaway is knowledge. Yeah. See you in the next one. Have a nice day and bye.
Cheers.